Bene. Thank you for being here. Welcome. It's my very great pleasure to introduce Professor Yehao from Tsinghua University in Beijing. He's a tenured professor there and also the director of the Institute of Architecture and Technology. He's also a PhD supervisor. This is particularly relevant because he's very engaged in the collaboration with Politecnico di Torino within the joint PhD with Tsinghua University. So a number of joint PhD theses were and are supervised by Professor Song with very good results. And also, and I think this is one of the main topics of today's lecture, is the principal of the SAP Atelier, a very renewed office of architecture that is part of the wider Tsinghua Architectural Design Institute. And it is very well known internationally, awarded, for instance, by the OIA. I remember 2 years ago when you got the special prize from the International Union of Architects, and many awards also in China, with a very interesting production that in few words is based on the encounter, let's say, with technology, so the art and the methodology of construction with some aspect of social responsibility within local communities. So this is maybe the main important part of your research, looking for innovation in construction through respect and learning from local technologies all around China. So many of your work are in very interesting context in the rural areas of Chinese territory. Also, I want to mention the PhD thesis finished. So it's by Giulia Montanaro, that I would like also to thank you and all the team of the A+ lecture to having promoted this lecture. And so we are happy to have here with us Sonia. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Mikhail. And thank you all for coming here. It's my honor actually to share something with you, just some experience based in rural China. And rural China is just a topic. Actually, we pay much attention to something sustainable. Could we really do something sustainable in the future? Could we do something based on different context in China, particularly in rural areas? So I just go. And I will present mainly.
Remove the.
Are they okay? Press okay. Okay, good. Yeah. I will mainly introduce 4 projects. 4 projects actually, and all in rural China. You know, China is a huge, great country, and rural China never means the same. Depends on the region, depends on the location, depends on the different development situation. So rural China is not a term actually. First case is an old retrofitting. Yeah, we also do retrofitting even in rural area in China, because a lot more abandoned, very much valuable buildings just abandoned in China. We try to preserve in a way to activate the new functions, to combine the demands of local people, the villagers, with renovation of the old building. So that's a history museum of a village. It's not easy, you know, in China, in the village level, got a museum. It's quite small. Location is here, just in Anhui province. Anhui province in China is not a rich region, not like Shanghai or Beijing, just a developing agricultural province with long history. thousands of years. And Qifeng village is just one of the common village, historical common village. That's the scenery of the village. And yes, surrounded with something very interesting. We got the National Nature Reserve, we got the villagers, and we got all this kind of traditional Chinese residential blocks in Anhui province. That's quite typical. We call it gray tile, small gray tiles, and also the painted white wall. With it's kind of aging, yeah, after hundreds of years, the color of the white wall will turn gradually to something like that. Very much fascinating. And that's the situation for the house, actually. It's something abandoned, and we just do very much detailed research and survey on that. It's all based on traditional intelligence for Chinese people to do something for themselves with the traditional craftsmanship, the local material, including timber, small gray tile, and small gray brick, all this kind of stuff. You see, one of the most interesting thing is the bottom made of stone for the column. Yeah, we all know the function for that is something to protect the column against water, but different type, which means, okay, long history, just in this stone stuff. Okay, small tiles, traditional things, and abandoned house for storage for the village. So before that is something like this. We just do the survey on that. And after, we just caught something for the public. The entrance, the balcony, also access to the second floor. It's not really second floor because for the traditional Chinese house, we got a storage above. So it's mezzanine actually, but we turned that mezzanine to public. So that transferred to multi-function hall like this. Could be seminar, could be banquet, could be whatever might be happening for the villagers. And beneath the main floor, we turned it into the museum space. The only thing we add is the 8 roof windows, and we cut some, make atrium and open space for the natural lighting and also ventilation. So before that is something that's a storage, main floor, and we just cut some space, add some roof windows, makes the natural lighting and natural ventilation possible. Oh, that's a diagram. I just draw it, yeah, for some time to illustrate the museum part, the conference part, or multifunctional part, and the entrance public access. Even the museum is closed in the night. People will easily go upstairs to the mezzanine for the tea house or for communication or for meeting or for whatever activity. So this makes the preserved museum 24 hours a day open for the villagers. So that's a diagram for the lighting, because originally it's something very dark, very dark. You can imagine that these all the windows, it's very dark inside. So we just do the analysis of lighting and also for ventilation. So the gap, both for lighting and ventilation. The way to do that is to organize all the villagers to work for themselves. So local people, they have their traditional craftsmanship, bricklayers, carpenters, or blacksmiths. They have that kind of skill. They just work for themselves and also make money for their families. So that's a procedure. We do the restoration. Yeah, here, Italy, Torino, I just show very, very, very not so professional way to do that. Yeah. But all by the local people, the villagers, organized to do something. Collected all this kind of rubbish thing. Otherwise, they'll be sure abandoned to somewhere. No one knows. So we just collected them, asked them to do that for the new building. Yeah, that's carpenter as well. Graduate of the eight roofing windows. After the retrofitting, it looks like nothing changed. It's just the original part of the village. Not only, you cannot tell if I do not tell you the roof windows are new and also the public entrance new, you will never say it's something new. So we just do not touch the building, the outlooking, and also to preserve the context of the whole village. So in the night is something like that. Public. The museum could be closed, but the entrance access for the up floor is totally free, open. So the roof window. Yes, we could say retrofitting for some windows. Yeah, that's public access. And also inside, the traditional, the old, just the retrofitted, the open space. That's the museum level. We could say it's really improved for the lighting situation and also for the ventilation. The gap, we just cut part of the floor of the mezzanine to make it possible for the lighting and ventilation. That's a multifunction hall, could be tea house. I also say, okay, 8 roof windows there. The museum part. The tea house or multifunction hall part. The entrance and surroundings. So yeah, it's very popular for the village, and the villagers love to visit and to show the friends how that village used to be. And also for meeting, conference. Yeah, that's a short movie for that. Even elderly, they could work for themselves to make some money for their families. Uh, yeah. Well, the second is about also another village center. It's in Henan province, in Yunzhai village. Location a little slightly moved north. Henan province used to be the center of China for hundreds, thousands of years. But gradually, the economic changed to the south of Yangtze River. So Henan province is kind of a relatively abandoned province. Yeah, not as prosperous as before, but they have a long history for brick work, and also have some very important industrial support. Crane, the crane for construction site, we are very familiar with. 80% of crane manufactured in that region, in China. So that they are not only good at brake works, but also at the steel work. So we just make it. The purpose for that is to create a place for the villagers 24 hours a day, could be open for all the time. But the strategy for this case is different from that in Qifeng village. Qifeng village is only an old house retrofitted. And for that, it's new house. And we try to make it possible, what on earth 24 hours mean for villagers? Yeah, could all this space open to them? You're very likely no, because for administration, for security, for other reasons. But we could find some place, yeah, the courtyard that could be open for the villagers all day. And also we find another is a terrace. So the roof. Could that be part of the courtyard, open for villagers all the time? The entrance for that central courtyard, they got a lot more ways to be in. The entrance, the gate here, no gate actually, just entrance, and could be here some openings. The brickwork here, that project, we try to combine something traditional Chinese, the brickwork, something industrialized. I mean, the steel work. So we do some combine only two materials in that case, brick, steel. And a lot more courtyard. Courtyard system is quite popular, particularly for the sustainable design in China, because it's very much friendly for natural lighting and also for ventilation. So we just make full use of the courtyard system with plantation, the open, and some mystery places for the kids. So that's the roof terraced part, also open to the villagers. They are very easy. It's very easy floor plan. Courtyard, and also the room, the functional room, and courtyards, and also above. Yeah, that also public space. There's some drawings. The brickwork. The diagram shows courtyard, 24 hours open, and go above, a lot more ways to go above to the roof garden. Yeah, activities. Because that's for the villagers and also the potential tourists. So we have to organize the activities. Yeah, could be happening somewhere. Yeah, the entrance to the courtyard, the staircase above, and also the central courtyard. Sometimes the villagers, they are particularly like some space to focus, just people gathered around to see some performance or kind of conference. They love this kind of space. The brickwork goes together with the steel work. So we try to make something for the design part. To be sustainable, is relatively easy if you only go following all this kind of index. Yeah, using the numbers, calculation, simulation, yeah, performance of the building. But it's very difficult to follow another way to be elegant. It's design, it must be something beautiful, something very much acceptable or acknowledged by common people even. So technical part, design part must be go together. Yeah, the roof garden. The people, yeah, they love that. Yes, there's only some space. Activities on or in that space totally depends on the local people. Yeah, they could be like this, very much popular in China. We call it dancing on plaza. Yeah, it's very popular for middle-aged and a courtyard. And also could see the scenery around. Because Henan province is an agricultural province, so the plot very flat. You can see very far away, even above only one floor, for the roof garden. The kids found a lot more interesting spaces. They love to be inside of the building, yeah, to do games together. And also the natural lighting. Natural lighting and natural ventilation always are the most important parts for the design of my office. So we try to make full use of something natural. Lighting, ventilation. So that's the entrance lobby. Yeah, the space. It's kind of modern, but still in the rural area, in the village. We just create different kinds of spaces, yeah, for kids to read together, to play together. A lot more potential activities just go behind the design of space. And for the materials, yeah, we try to make full use natural materials. This case, bamboo. Bamboo is also a very important material for my office to do design, especially in rural area in China. Why in rural area? Just because of the codes and regulations. It's not very easy to be permitted in metropolitan. Yeah, you have to follow a lot more codes and regulations, particularly fireproof or structure security safety things. In rural area, we just make it open, so bamboo plays an important role for the design of my office. Now that's activities. They could be playing the local opera. Yeah, the roof above, and also for movie night, for a lot more things could be happening. Library part, and further. Yeah, yeah. We just design space. Yeah, they use that in some way. Particularly, we could not, even for architects, could not imagine. Yeah, this way, that way. Yeah, they just make fun of them. So, but for the construction part is something particularly difficult because it's in the rural area, and we try to do something very well controlled for the quality, detailing. So even they have the bricklayers, they have the workers in the factory, but it's kind of challenge. Oh, sorry, another short video. Yeah. Yeah, that's the flat. Oh, central cushion, centralized, steel work, staircase. open everywhere. The children, yeah, they are much more creative, yeah, to find how to make full use of the space, even more than the adults. They just make fun of themselves. Space. Sometimes I can't help thinking always. Very likely we just create something not only for this generation, also for the next, even next, because they are the future. If they got the experience for some space, particularly interesting, there's also kind of to support, very likely to support the yesterday's children to be next day's architects or engineers. So in China, we have different kind of a lot more kinds of local opera. There's the Beijing opera, the Henan opera, or Anhui opera. Anhui opera is particularly famous. Huang Mei Xi, very, very fascinating. And also the Yu Ju, also very nice. Yeah. People are doing the dancing. Yeah, that's it. And the third case is about bamboo case. I just mentioned bamboo, quite important. And also the codes and regulations. We still need to develop new things to match bamboo, from my point of view. And we still got some opportunities to do something in rural area in China. I never see we break the codes and regulations. We just make it open, kind of open space, just the canopy, the cover for a market, for a tea market. That's particularly for the tea market in Fujian area with bamboo and rammed earth. So we got a theory for that from the very original, the Shangcun bamboo pavilion to this. That's only the third of, we got the fourth, fifth, and sixth, yeah, and seventh ongoing. So bamboo projects kind of theory of my office. Yeah, very, from my point of view, I think it's quite challenging and also very much attractive. Bamboo is kind of natural beauty, but it's totally different from timber. Timber is very well organized, designed, and manufactured. So it's very precise, actually, for timber. Bamboo, you can never do something very much precise or accurate. Bamboo, even a piece of bamboo The diameter is never the same. You know that bamboo is bamboo. And in the traditional China, actually, we do not need the envelope. The envelope is something modern, because we just try to find a way in harmony with nature. Yeah, that's the pavilion. Yeah, a lot more we could say in Ming Dynasty, the very much famous paintings, Chinese paintings, illustrated all this kind of in harmony with nature. We do not need windows. We do not need walls. At least not all kinds of buildings. Yeah, so for pavilion, for some space, we just open to nature. Yeah, very likely it's cold in winter, but still depends. China is a huge country. We have the extreme cold, like the Harbin, yeah, in winter, but we still have the Yangtze River Delta and South China warm in winter. So we try to find, could we do that? That's also a very famous painting in Ming Dynasty. We could say even in snow, the literati is still sitting there, yeah, in the open envelope. This time we go a little bit south in Fujian province. Yeah, just there, you see the red dot. And north of Fujian, yeah, so gradually north. And again, it's a poor region in China. So we try to control everything in 20 kilometers. You know? Not only the materials, but also the users. Try to be focused, concentrated to eliminate all these other kind of possible cost or carbon emission. So the local local tea resource, rammed earth. Rammed earth, very famous rammed earth, Chinese traditional residential blocks, just 20 kilometers away from the construction site. And nearby, we got another traditional Chinese technique, that the vaulted timber, traditional timber bridge. So rammed earth, vernacular elements, could we make full use of them, reclaimed, collected from the abandoned things, make trash into something precious, totally depends on design and the way you organize, how you use that in the new things. And also Fujian is famous of stone, granite, marble, very much famous. A lot more new buildings in Shanghai, Beijing, or Guangzhou, Shenzhen. The source of stone, granite, very likely from Fujian province. And they have the shining, the granite curtain wall there and garbage here. So a lot more abandoned things. Could we just make full use of them for a sustainable future? We do the calculation, a simulation for this kind of, if 10 years discard, okay, what could they be? Also craftsmen from nearby. They have the long tradition for rammed earth wall. So we just input the bamboo technique. So bamboo with local rammed earth, and all the villagers have kind of particular role for construction. So the stone base also reclaimed. So we just do that in the traditional way. For the rammed earth wall, the only thing we have kind of input is the timber bricks. Because for rammed earth wall, it's very difficult to hang something on. Yeah, if you nailed, it will damage the rammed earth wall, cannot bear any load. But we just insert the brick, timber bricks in, so you could nail something on these bricks. So the only thing, all these kind of, all these workers for rammed earth wall are local villagers. They have their tradition. They have their traditional tool for ram earth wall. We do not input anything modernized or industrialized, just the local way. Because talking about the modernized way to do the rammed earth wall or industrialized way to do the rammed earth wall, the only benefit is time. You know, we could save some time, couple of days. But in this case, time is not a problem at all. We could spend a week or 2 weeks. Yeah, so we are not in a hurry. That's totally different from most of the projects in China, always in a hurry, handing all your drawings tomorrow or finish the job today. So, but that case is not. So they just do that. Very interesting from my side, from my point of view, the speed for local people, for local villagers, do the rammed earth wall, also very fast. Yeah, couple of days, 2 villagers, 1 piece of wall, just finished. Very quick. And also for the structure for the bamboo, this time we are very much inspired by the local watered timber bridge for hundreds of years in the mountain region in Fujian province or Zhejiang province, very much traditional Chinese. Oh, that is something from the Leonardo da Vinci. Yeah, it is the rainbow timber system for bridge. So that's a nearby timber bridge. That's for protect from rainwater, not just covers the timber part. And also very much inspiring is traditional Chinese, very famous traditional Chinese painting in 11th century, the Song Dynasty. That painting for the daily life of at that time, the capital city of Song Dynasty. Yeah, a rainbow bridge there. So rainbow again, called Da Vinci's rainbow. But Da Vinci anyway is in the 15th century. Yeah, so 400 years ago, we have this painting and this. 400 years after, this. So we just do the research for watered timber and rainbow system. So rainbow system, watered timber system, they have benefits, advantages or disadvantages. That's beautiful for sure, but that's easier a little bit. So we try to achieve an opening of 18 meters of bridge, the bridge system with elements of bamboo, the pieces of bamboo to connect it. Because for the bamboo, very much limited to the length, 4.6 or 4.8 meters, no more than 5 meters, it's very much useful. Otherwise, very likely to thin, too weak for structure elements. So we just do the separated small pieces to have a big span covering. So make it like this. And for design, it's kind of complicated to have all this kind of the bamboo system. Yeah, that's for structure. And also we have some design, particularly to make full use of bamboo. Bamboo is a long history, yeah, a long history. And if we got a chance, maybe I could talk several hours for bamboo. Too much difficulties and very much interesting part. And bamboo is lightweighted. Bamboo is kind of error tolerance system. You just need to think of bamboo. It's not very precise, I mentioned. So could we just use a bondage? Because it's a way you could to match different things for the error tolerance. So long history, long story. I'm not talking about of bamboo today. I just want to say the local things, local materials, local people, villagers work together for themselves. Yes, we do experiment for that. The load bearing, very much traditional way for engineering. Yeah, if Sometimes we depend on computer gradually more and more, particularly when AI is kind of common sense for especially in universities. But still, if we do not have the software for bamboo elements, better go back to hundreds of years ago, do the load-bearing experiment to see the displacement, to see the break of the element, to make it safe. And we do a lot more work on that. That's not, a very much cut the edge way to think of structural safety, but that works very fast for the bamboo part. The only enemy that could make the time long time for construction worse, rain. If it rains, they have to stop to cover its membrane to protect the bamboo. They cannot do any construction job. But without rain, very fast. So that's the design. Sorry. Oh, that's under construction. That's accomplished. So we just do the detailed design for every part actually, for only show a little job for design part. And for projects in rural China, better make it multifunctional because the village is not rich. One project, very likely, maybe several decades, only this project. So make it multifunctional. Could be for lecture, could be for tea house, could be for banquet, for wedding, or for other things. Better to make it multifunctional. And that also for the tea market, because for the tea trading, we just in a very short period of time in a year, spring or autumn, only very short period of time. The rest of time, try to make full use of the big space. Could be for movie night. That could be for the grocery market. Could be for tea house. Could be for everything. And the village, they have long history for this kind of feast. Yeah, each and every family just cook something, invite the neighbors to eat. Yeah. For the whole day. That's something traditional, could be happening here. Yes, just the construction accomplished. Also, natural lighting, because it's kind of deep for 18 meters, it's very dark in the middle. So we try to make full use of the roof window system to make it lighter for natural lighting. So that's it. And also the terasso, the pavement, just make full use of the abandoned place of stone nearby. The natural ventilation for the prevailing cold winter, wind blocked with rammed earth wall, and for the prevailing summer wind could penetrate the whole building. So also the pavement here, with make full use of the abandoned stone plate. The timber breaks inside of the rammed earth wall. The structural part. These benches are made of the abandoned timber, so just to make full use of. Yes, they have this kind of ping pong. You see the signal here. just for the pandemic. People just stand here in queue for the test. So also make full use of this space. That's for the structure. And we also have
the location of the tea leaf market was a poor region, but rich in tea, with vast tea fields and bamboo forests on its mountains. To boost local tea leaf trading economy, the government and villagers proposed a multifunctional tea leaf market. It could also provide the villagers with a quality public space. As a result, a big open space with a large span was built with local materials, craftsmen, and building technologies. It could also be used throughout the year with low maintenance costs. Apart from seasonal tea leaf trading, it can serve multiple public purposes. Traditional building technologies for wooden arch bridges have been carried forward since ancient times in that region. We studied the prototype and traditional building technologies of wooden arches and proposed refined bamboo structures and overlapped small bamboo parts, which served as substitute for timber ones, to form identical units that were finally assembled into a woven bamboo roof with an 18-meter span. Since many villagers were well trained for rammed earth buildings, which were common in the region, an enclosure wall was built around the reinforced concrete structure at one side, where traditional earth ramming technologies were applied. It served as both a cover for the main structure and a screen between the exterior and interior. Discarded materials were recycled, processed, and reused by local craftsmen. Going through the whole process of collecting waste materials, discussing and experimenting on their reuse with local craftsmen, we finally reached the goal of obtaining materials locally. Considering the environment and social status of this underdeveloped region, we made sure a low-cost process of material obtaining, participation of local craftsmen, and involvement of local technologies were implemented, so that the building could be deeply rooted here, like a tree growing out from its soil, thus motivating the villagers to participate in and benefit from its construction. The large span has made it possible to turn the market into the community's activity space. An open roof could boost natural ventilation and daylighting, reducing operational costs. Supported by local villagers, technologies, and materials, the project has maximized long-term public benefits for local people with minimum environmental intervention.
Yeah, that's case. And that's the original prototype for my office for the bamboo in the year 2017. Yeah, why we got a chance to do that? Just because we didn't have enough time for construction for the project. And not we, but I mean the client. So the villagers actually, that village, we got the opportunity to do that. So very, very roughly, I just go, yeah. Originally, it's a place like this. It's abandoned, just abandoned for 2 decades, not destroyed, just abandoned. You know, the traditional Chinese residential blocks in Anhui province, without maintenance, without people inside, very easily to be damaged like this. So it's something like that. So from the closed residential block, very much for safety, yeah, and to guard, for security actually, to guard the big family, to the open space for all the villagers and tourists, and from the private to the public, and also from the heaviness to the lightness, and from private to the public plaza. It's kind of plaza, yeah, for the villagers. So very quick. The first time we touched bamboo as a material for construction. We have some lessons, we have some experiences. We learned a lot from the craftsmen. We learned a lot from the villagers, how to organize them, to work for themselves. To ask villagers work for themselves is kind of essential part for our projects in rural area. The villagers are the workers for this project. They could not do the bamboo job because it's particularly trained former farmers for the bamboo worker, but they could do everything else. Do the retrofitting of the courtyard, collecting of the abandoned old materials, and also the brick layer works, blacksmith works, and carpenter's work. So the joints. Only in green t-shirts, professional bamboo workers, I mean former villagers in other places. But in other t-shirts, they just the local, the villagers, so they do a lot more things for themselves, even for the concrete part. So we call it by the villagers, of the villagers, and for the villagers, old people. Yeah, that's the phenomenon, very much famous phenomenon in China. We call it only elderly and children still stay in the villages. So that's something true. But even the elderly could do something for themselves. So that's very quick for that. That's it. That village is very much similar with the village, the first project, Anhui province. So the scenery, the mountains, and kind of traditional old villages with hundreds of years history, abandoned to some extent. The young people moved out of the village, but still we have the elderly and children bondage with ropes. Totally new, everything, materials, layout, also the function, but still blends very well in the context of the village. Oh, that's the strength of design, the particular design for them. Yeah, that's a local opera. No, that's actually the traditional, very famous Chinese song. The last, I just want to show something about, because Julia is part of the design team. We just work together for a lot more works, and Julia is much more popular than any Chinese in that village because Italian girls in the Chinese traditional village. So very interesting and quite common. And but that's also the newly finished project for my office. So just near the reservoir here, abandoned factory, abandoned village factory. It's not a high standard factory. It's just a small factory in the village. So after the retrofitting, it's something like this. So Before it's something like this, very poor condition, abandoned factory, like this, very dark inside. Yeah, just because of the mobile phone is so advanced, you could take picture even in darkness. Okay, it looks like good. The lighting condition is good, but it's all because of the phone, the mobile phone. And this is the real thing. Yeah, that's very dark inside. So make full use, try to, again, the abandoned thing nearby could be something new, something pleasures for a new project. Easy, very easy floor plan. We never challenge the floor plans. We do more challenge for the sections, for the tunnels of natural ventilation, the tunnels for natural lighting, the lighting conduction inside of the building. But we do not pay much attention to the floor plan, just make it easy to use, easy to construct. So that's after the retrofitting. Before it's something like this. And the structure system, the timber GLT, the glue laminated timber, sorry. Oh, afterwards is something like this. Yeah, before and after, it's changed. Yeah, that's a diagram for that, for natural lighting, because it's very dark inside. So we try to design the roof windows. And because it's in rural area China, we can never depend on the construction things. We have to design the roof window in a vertical way. So the overhang of the roof could help from preventing the rainwater to be leaking inside of the building. So just an easy way, the vertical roof window and with the overhang, yeah. Not only for rainwater, but also for overheating. It's kind of sun shading system. So you could say, yeah, that's real. For the lighting, very much improved. And also make full use of the fans instead of air conditioning. Only very limited parts, spaces are air conditioned. So for the meeting, for some, just the places that you need high comfort, so air conditioned, and also other spaces are not. So that's a diagram to show the air conditioned part, and the part without air conditioning depends on natural ventilation, and also depends on the electric fans. Air conditioned part could also be the cooling source for the other parts. So make full use of that. The diagram shows that. Yes, that's some also reclaimed stones. Just like that. Could also be the thermal mass for both cooling or heating. The space in between air conditioned part, the rammed earth over there, you could see the stone wall plays also as thermal mass. So local people, they just even the people from Wuhan, the big city, metropolitan nearby, attracted to be here for spending some time. The reclaimed stones again. Also reclaim the bricks again. So we have strategies, make full use of everything abandoned. In the nearby, we do not make full use of the abandoned things from Wuhan. We just make full use of the abandoned things nearby in a very limited range. Abandoned this, that. So we have the route for the construction materials, the construction over there. So yeah, nearby, mostly nearby. The brakes. Also for the construction. Yeah. Stones. The stone factories is nearby, so we find all of this. So we find a place in the new building. Yeah, the pavement. Timber again, or landscaping. The people from Thailand. Local things. Julia. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Right. Okay, we have some topics. Yeah, thank you.
It's really a pleasure to have you here because you see me in the video. So I was really engaged in the last project, but I also went around to visit the other around China. Some of them are really like 4 hours by car by the nearby station.
Very
so they are really
far,
yeah. So I will ask if someone has some question for Professor Song to introduce a bit of discussion.
Is that actually we know that there's they have learned how to build based on their experience, and it's a kind of experience we made that learning for it. And for us, it's like a modern language of architecture. Quality of construction and the needs that we have with that authenticity that they have in their works.
Yeah, actually, we are talking about craftsmanship or local craftsmanship. In the modern architecture is kind of less challenging than the traditional Chinese thing. If you may imagine of the traditional Chinese timber structure buildings, it's very much complicated, very much more than the modern architecture. So talking about craftsmanship for the understanding of modern architecture, how to match that with their local traditional craftsmanship, I would say modern architecture is easier. It's easier. And on the other hand, talking about modern architecture quality, in the rural area projects, my office never, we try to make it, the high quality expression for detailing and for all the projects, but we never ask for the high quality for construction. Yeah, for instance, if you may notice, I just go back a little bit for the projects. Yes, that's a very good question because about the quality thing. Yeah, this one. Just this, yeah. Yeah, this one. The reinforcement for the almost collapsed the traditional brick wall. We just do the frame of concrete, reinforced concrete. Everything done by the villagers. They are not very much well done in that part because if in Beijing, it will redo it again, it's not, it will never meet the quality for construction. But in rural area, it's perfect because of the floor match very well with the aging of the painting. So very good. If very trained, very well trained, and for the concrete construction in Beijing and Shanghai, you could imagine if the concrete column, like a mirror, like the Japanese architects are doing, okay, that's kind of conflicts. So you know what I mean. The quality, yes, we try to control, but that's the best quality instead of the mirrored concrete wall. Yeah, thank you.
Just the 5 projects, all of them, you talk a lot about the collaboration with the craftsmen, also the villagers, so you have a very close relation with them during the construction. So you show mostly images of construction with them. What happened with the design? So do you reach the same degree of sharing and interaction also in during the architectural design? So it's possible to create some way parts, at least parts of your design, or this phase is more independent?
Yeah, yes. Firstly, why we have so good relationship with local villagers or whatever, whoever, just because we have a city planning team just before us, the city planning team, either from Tsinghua, we have a very strong urban planning team, or from the national, the Chinese Academy of Urban Planning, that institute. So they did very good communication with local people. They understand what they are going to do and what we involved, what we are going to do. So and also urban planners, they always have a very good relationship with local officials, right? Because local officials commit them to do consultant. So they have very good relationship. Officials, villagers, urban planners, they go very good relationship. And then architects, they introduce us for their project. So we just, before we do that project, they understand, they are convinced that our team could do the best. So easier, firstly. And secondly, yes, a lot more conflicts actually. Yeah, the local people could not understand the intention of architects. Yeah. For instance, Yeah, they could not understand why you just use the abandoned things. Why? It's abandoned, in the village, abandoned here and there. Why you use that? And they could not understand how to make it with abandoned thing. Yeah, they also, even in rural areas, they are trained to do the job. Yeah, very precise, to have the opening or depth or for this pavement work. And we have to be on the construction site, go together with them. Even, yeah, we are not bricklayers, we are not carpenters, but we just illustrate what we are really going to do. And very easily, they could follow the instruction and do this kind of thing. So communication very necessary to have them understand. And once they understand your intention and they know, or you just ask them to do things like that, very fast they could have that drop down.
Can add something? I remember also the discussion about
Oh,
the
yeah.
bricks, because to reuse the bricks when they demolished the building, well, not all the bricks were completely perfect.
Yeah,
right? Some
yes,
was
yes.
broken, the corner was broken, and there was a long discussion about how to reuse this, because the facility will not look well if some corner of the bricks were broken. But they try to insist, because also according to reuse the bricks, of course, also the budget will attach
Yeah.
a lot.
Yes. And also talk about the breaks. There also could be some additional information for how architects communicate with local people. That one is also. Originally, we just designed like the most traditional way to break layer, this kind of one by one. That's very easy to understand. This one and this one, just this way of to lay the bricks, right? But unfortunately, we find the new bricks have kind of scars. If we just make the brick wall in the original way, you will see the scars everywhere. So it's not acceptable for architects. We talked with the villagers to have this kind of layer, the pattern for that. So not this way, but with that. That's no scars on that face. So it is, you can see. Yeah, that picture shows the scars and without scars, so make it a little bit more elegant. Yeah. Yeah, this you could say the way we just did. Without scars and have to be scars, and without and with scars. So yeah, that's a particular modified detail.
If there are any recent interests, we then go on to investigate what's the local point of view of local craftsmen after the building is done.
Oh, yeah, good question. Yes. We do the further research, but not on the craftsmanship. We do the environment, the performance. We have design for natural ventilation. Does it work or not? We do the measurement for natural lighting, and also for the distribution of the temperature thing, the thermal environment, we do this kind of research to follow that. But for craftsmanship, no. Yeah, finished, just finished. Okay, thank you.
It was just a curiosity following Michele's intervention. First of all, thanks very much for this presentation. This is the second occasion I have the chance to.
Yeah. Yes.
Your project, and it's really, really inspiring. So inspiring that sometimes we wonder, okay, how we can just mimic some of these processes in other contexts. And that's my question. Who actually is authorizing this building? Local institutions or other levels of government? I'm asking because in our experience, in European, Italian experience, the structure of the authorization is making these kind of processes really, really difficult.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? So that's why I'm asking. It seems that when you have local authorities involved, it's somehow more difficult because the dynamics are also local. Whether if you just arrive and say with another level of organization, you can actually implement your process.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Without any bargaining.
Oh yeah. Yes.
At the local level, which
Yeah.
is close to the people, but also with really little and not so wide problems involved. So maybe they're just local struggles that you cannot get, and you just get stuck.
Yeah, very good question. Yeah, the mechanics, the decision making process behind. Yeah, very good question. Yeah, actually, I just mentioned when I answered the Michele's question, yes, we are invited. So before us, before architects, planning works and also even the sociology part, they did a lot more works before. So they have a very, I don't know, maybe they have a lot more conflicts with local government. Yeah. But when the stage that architects are going in, those conflicts just gone. Yeah, you have long time negotiation. And also because only the higher level, yeah, for instance, that's for the village, but very likely the decision maker, yeah, maybe 2 levels above. Yeah, from the county or from the city, county village, something like this, and the county is something like this, and city level, yeah, very likely to the county level. Yeah. So it's a little bit high above that. And another thing about that, the local government, the village level, they will do that. Yeah, they could benefit from doing that project. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's it. So we do not have conflicts anymore, and the village level, they have benefits. Upper level, they have political intentions to have this project to be demo, and they could be go out. Yes. Yeah, for instance, for that project, yeah, all the contractor, different parts of contractors, maybe some of them are relatives of the leader of the village. Yeah, very likely. I don't know. I don't care actually. Yeah. So you know the benefits. So the village level, they have real benefits. Upper level, they have political benefits. Very likely. So we just work together to have it happen.
Let's see.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, almost time. Almost time. Yeah. 2:30.
So we will talk about the song. I will thank you again for the lecture. Also, thank you to the PhD students from Professor Song that are here with us.
Okay. Thank you, Julia.
Thank you for your lecture.
Thank you. Thank you.